Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to, take complex ideas and break them down, make them accessible.
Make sense of them together.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something truly fascinating. Law of One, Session 72.
A really dense and insightful session.
It is. So if you're looking for a deeper understanding of what Ra communicated in this particular session, you're definitely in the right place.
We're going to go through it pretty much question by question, Raz answers to specific queries.
Yeah, that's the plan. To unpack each exchange, pull out the insights, hopefully without making your head spin. It's complex stuff.
It can be, but breaking it down helps reveal the connections, the underlying principles. It's like looking closely at a tapestry.
Okay, let's jump in. Question 72.1. It starts right away with the instrument's condition.
Right. Ra notes her physical energy is, the term used is distorted downwards.
And the reason is key here, isn't it? It's about activity in her mind complex, making it difficult to get the right configuration for contact.
Absolutely. It immediately tells you this isn't just about passively receiving. The instrument's mental state is crucial.
So for you listening, think about that delicate interplay. Mind, body, energy. It all has to align for that clear channel.
Even subtle things like mental chatter could potentially throw it off. It impacts the energy.
Okay, then question 72.2 asks about the banishing ritual they were using. Was it working?
And Ra gives a clear yes. It was effective. Purified the space, screened out unwanted influences.
Which, must have been a relief. It addresses that need for a protected, intentional space for this kind of work.
Definitely. Shows the value of that energetic preparation, consciously setting the stage.
But then 72.3 immediately asks, can we make the ritual better, more effective?
And Ra's answer is just no.
Just no. Which is kind of intriguing, right? It suggests a limit.
It does. Maybe the ritual, as it was, had a kind of inherent balance. Trying to add more might actually, well, mess it up.
Disrupt the function, perhaps, like it is what it is.
Could be an inherent structure or wisdom in the practice itself.
All right, now questions 72.4 and 72.5. This is where it gets pretty serious. The instrument nearly passed out during some earlier meditations.
Yeah, Ra explains this was interference. From an Orion group entity specifically.
And the tactics used, they're quite specific, aren't they? Reveals a lot about how negative influence might operate.
The first one Ra mentions is really insidious, trying to pull the spirit from the body.
Under the guise of helping prepare for raw contact.
Exactly, twisting that desire for connection. But the instrument instinctively knew something was wrong.
She asked for hand-holding, right, for grounding.
Yes, a really strong intuitive countermove. Shows her inner awareness, even then.
Then the entity switched tactics, exploiting the confusion between, like, a deep trance state and just plain unconsciousness.
Right. They gave what Ra calls a greeting that caused dizziness, vertigo, essentially making her faint to break the contact.
And Ra is clear. The goal was simply to stop the communication. Period.
It really highlights the challenges, doesn't it? Maintaining that clear channel isn't always easy. There can be opposing forces.
And the need for discernment becomes so important, knowing what energy you're dealing with.
Absolutely. Vigilance and grounding.
So, following that, question 72.6 looks ahead. The instrument needed hand surgery involving general anesthetic. The question was, would that unconscious state make her vulnerable to Orion again?
And Ra's answer is quite reassuring. Extremely improbable.
Okay, why improbable? What's the reasoning?
It comes down to intention. Ra explains that for that kind of vulnerability, or conversely, for a spiritually significant departure from the body, there needs to be a specific conscious intention, like service to the creator.
I see. And the state under anesthesia? It just doesn't have that focused will behind it. It's chemically induced unconsciousness, not a volitional act of consciousness.
Precisely. So for anyone listening who might worry about medical procedures, this offers some comfort that context and intention matter hugely.
That makes sense. Okay, question 72.7. This one digs into a really fundamental concept, the role of attitude and how it relates to the effectiveness of negative entities. Ra links it to the law of confusion.
Which is essentially the law of free will, right? Protecting everyone's right to choose their own path, their own experiences, without direct intervention.
Yes. And Ray explains that the intensity of our intention acts like a kind of magnet. It attracts its polar opposite.
So shallow desires might attract fleeting, maybe weird or magical seeming circumstances, but they don't have deep roots.
But the turning point, Ra says, is when the will aligns with service to others, That activates a powerful polarity.
And in this group's case, you had three wills strongly focused on service to others, plus Ra's own purity of intent.
That combined focus, that intensity, is what attracted the polar opposite, the Orion interference. It's like turning up the brightness of a light also makes the shadows more distinct.
A really powerful analogy. And Ra also mentions this strong positive alignment has the potential to attract immense positive support, a great mass of light strength.
But, and this is crucial, that support also operates under free will. It has to be consciously invoked by the group. Rai can't just direct it to them.
Preserving their free will to seek their own biases, their own path, is paramount. It highlights the responsibility that comes with that focused intent. You attract challenge, but also potential support, which you must actively choose to engage.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? Free will is everything.
It truly is the foundation.
Which leads nicely into 72.8. How do negatively oriented entities deal with free will? Are they limited by it? And how does the banishing ritual fit in?
Ross says negative entities don't inherently respect free will. They'll infringe if they see an opening. However,
But they are constrained by the larger law of confusion.
mostly, yes. It makes it hard for them to just, show up directly in our planetary sphere. They tend to use what Ra calls Windows moments, where a strong positive calling creates a kind of balancing point they can exploit.
And once they get a foothold, the goal is always conquest or control.
That seems to be the orientation, yes. And Ra reiterates regarding removing the instrument that it still requires her free will. They can't just take her. That's why they resort to trickery.
Okay, so how does the banishing ritual work against that?
It generates forms of light. These create an energetic barrier, a resonance that negative entities with their different energy complex simply cannot pass through. It's invoking aspects of the one infinite creator's light.
So it's not just symbolic, it's energetically functional. It creates a real high vibration shield based on incompatible energies.
Exactly, rooted in the actual principles of energy and consciousness.
Wow. Okay, 72.9 feels like a capstone to this section. The questioner basically asks, is all of this our service, the Orion interference, everything just a result of the first distortion, free will, letting the creator explore itself?
And Rai's answer is incredibly simple and profound. Just yes.
One word, affirming that free will is the engine driving this entire experience, this whole cosmic play of exploration.
Every choice, every interaction, positive or negative, stems from that initial grant of freedom, allowing the creator infinite ways to know itself, including through us, through you listening.
Powerful stuff. Let's shift gears slightly. Question 72.2i revisits something from a previous session, the harsh toll on the instrument, when she uses her vital energy for physical tasks.
Right. Ra makes a really important distinction here between physical energy belonging to the body complex and vital energy, which is more connected to the mind-body-spirit complex as a whole.
And the instrument apparently had low physical energy reserves, but high vital energy.
Yes, because her mind, spirit, and will were strongly aligned towards the creator, towards service. That alignment cultivated this deep wellspring of vital energy.
But the problem arose when she dipped into that vital energy for everyday physical stuff.
Exactly. Using that potent, spiritually aligned energy for mundane tasks caused a much greater distortion, a much faster depletion than using it for her deep desire, which was service, channeling, that kind of work.
So misusing vital energy is literally, as Ra puts it, a rapid removal of life force. That's sobering.
It is. It really underlines the importance of aligning our actions with our core purpose, energetically speaking. There are consequences to diverting that deep energy.
It suggests that living in alignment isn't just philosophical, it's energetically sustainable.
Very much so. Using vital energy for its intended purpose seems to be regenerative, while misdirection leads to burnout, essentially.
Okay, so naturally, question 72.11 asks, can this be fixed? Can they use a ritual to recharge her vital energy using available light?
Rack confirms, yes, that's correct. It is possible. But then comes a significant warning.
What's the warning?
Avoid any workings that raises up any personality, and Ras stresses the need to be fastidious, meticulous.
Raises up any personality. What does that imply? Ego inflation, personal power trips.
That seems to be the implication. The focus must be purely on drawing in universal light, not on personal gain or enhancing the ego. Purity of intent is crucial.
And when they ask for clarification in 72.1, what does raises up any personality mean? Rap is, well, a bit evasive.
Deliberately so, it seems. Rao offers clues but says a direct explanation would be an infringement on free will. The core message given instead is, realize that all are one.
So the understanding has to come from within, through meditating on that principle of oneness, rather than being handed a definition.
Exactly. It points towards intuitive understanding and self-discovery as the path, respecting the seeker's journey.
Makes sense within the framework. Okay, 72.13 is about adding a specific sound vibration, shin, to the banishing ritual, making it yod-he shin vav-he. Helpful.
Ra says yes, it is helpful. And interestingly, Ra notes it's especially helpful for the instrument because of her personal resonance, her congruency with that specific sound vibration.
That's fascinating. It suggests that these tools aren't necessarily one-size-fits-all. Individual resonance matters.
It points to the personalized nature of energy work. Certain vibrations might just click better with certain individuals.
Then a practical question in 72.12, what's the best timing for the banishing ritual relative to their Sunday meditations? Does it last long?
Ra indicates their earlier assumption was more correct. The ritual needs to be done relatively close in time to the meditation itself.
So the protective effect isn't indefinite. It has an optimal window. Good practical guidance for anyone doing similar work.
Yeah, it suggests a certain temporal potency. Timing matters.
Question 72.15 brings back the Orion concern. Is there still a danger the instrument could be led away during these Sunday meditations, even with the banishing ritual?
Ra's answer is nuanced. Opportunities for interference depend on the instrument's own awareness and readiness. Ra then says something quite revealing,
What's that?
that the instrument is still too much a neophyte to be handling questions in the way Ra usually does, implying there's still growth needed in her channeling ability itself.
So the need for precaution might lessen as her own awareness and skill develop.
That's the suggestion. Ultimately, inner growth, discernment, that's the best protection. It highlights the journey of development in these abilities.
Okay. 72.16 is very brief. Can they over-energize the instrument with the sexual energy transfers they practiced?
Ra's answer is simply no.
Straightforward. Addresses their specific practice and energy dynamics.
Yep. Clear answer to a direct question about their situation.
Now, 72.17. This is a really detailed, fascinating question. Why isn't there protection specified for the floor, the bottom, in the banishing ritual? Should there be?
And Ray's explanation here is incredibly detailed, really gets into the weeds of energetic mechanics. It's amazing stuff.
Okay, break it down for us. How do these energies flow?
Right. So Ra says psychic greetings, the negative kind, tend to come from the violet ray, the crown chakra level, downwards through the energy centers.
So attacks come from above, energetically speaking.
Generally, yes, targeting specific senders based on the sender's intent and the receiver's vulnerabilities. Ra mentions Orion targeting the green ray, the heart, for activation, stirring emotion, and the indigo ray, the third eye, for blocking intuition, causing confusion.
Okay. And how does Ra's own contact work?
Ra uses a narrowband violet ray connection, but specifically works with the instrument's blue ray, the throat chakra, for communicating the law of one. Very specific pathway.
And what about energy from below, from the earth or through the feet?
This is the crucial part. Ra states that life energy, the flow from the one infinite creator, enters from the body's south pole, magnetically speaking, through the feet. But only the creator itself can really enter the energy shell that way with significant effect.
So negative entities or other adepts can't really attack effectively from below. Their influence comes from above.
That's what Ra indicates. Adept's effects are primarily from the higher centers downwards. Therefore, constructing the wall of light downwards, protecting from above, is the most effective, the most propitious strategy.
Wow. That explains the structure of the ritual based on a deep understanding of how these energies actually move and interact. It's not arbitrary at all.
Not at all. It's grounded in specific energetic principles of polarity, chakras, and the source of life force.
Okay, we're at the final question, 72.18. Just asking if there's anything else they can do for the instrument's comfort or to improve the contact.
And Ra notes some increased distortion in her neck area, suggesting that paying attention there might help comfort, a specific physical observation.
Seems quite caring, actually.
It does. And Ra follows up with general reassurance. All is well, commending the group's forbearance, their patience, their fastidiousness, that careful attention to detail. Affirming that continuing the contact is acceptable because of their dedicated approach.
A really supportive and encouraging way to end the session, acknowledging their hard work.
Absolutely. It shows Ra's awareness of the physical toll and appreciation for the group's commitment.
So looking back at this whole session, session 72, it's just packed, isn't it? Free will, intention, service. the dynamics of positive and negative forces.
The mechanics of channeling, protection, vital energy. It weaves together so many core Law of One concepts.
It really does. It highlights the complexity, but also the underlying order, maybe, the principles governing these interactions. I hope this walkthrough has helped clarify some of that for you listening.
It's definitely a session that offers layers upon layers of insight. The more you sit with it, the more connections you see.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to maybe ponder for yourself. How consciously are you directing your own intention? Think about the subtle ways your focus, your will, might be shaping the energies and experiences you attract, both challenging and supportive.
How could a deeper grasp of your own free will empower your journey, your path of discovery, your way of serving? It's a potent question.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration.
Namaste. I am you, and you are me.